I should start with a very famous quote from Zbigniew Brzezinski, who said, and you can quote it better than I do, he said, without Ukraine, Russia ceases to be an empire. With Ukraine subordinated, Russia is an empire. It is very unfortunate that in the 21st century, there are still people, there is still a leader, or the leader rather, who believes that empires can be rebuilt and re-established. It will never happen, and it will never happen because of the global citizenship of all of you and because of the global effort to help Ukraine to fight the evil.
That was Ukraine's ambassador to the United Nations over the weekend. He lent his voice to the Global Citizen Now summit, where I hosted a panel with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, also Cisco CEO Chuck Robbins, and Global Citizen CEO Hugh Evans. Afterward, I sat down for an exclusive interview with von der Leyen, and there was a lot to discuss, particularly Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Madam President, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Joe.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I was talking to David Ignatius yesterday, and he knew my father really well, and I was watching you and my father at the Brussels Forum in 2015, and David was reminding me how pleased my father would be at some of the things that have happened at this moment in history, and that is a strong Europe. His dreams for a strong Europe in a post-Soviet era are finally happening, and he would be so pleased to see you in this role.
But it's so wonderful to sit next to you because indeed I knew your father very well. I mean, I was and am in awe what his knowledge is concerned and his ability to analyze fantastic. And now to sit here with you is amazing.
It's a drop.
But it's okay. No. He would be and is certainly so proud of you.
So I'm curious, this moment with such unity in Europe hasn't come without a lot of pain. So if you could talk about the Ukrainian determination. You were there with that remarkable meeting in Kyiv with President Zelensky. Are you inspired, even motivated in your decisions by the determination and the will of the Ukrainian people?
Absolutely. I was before Easter in Bucha in Ukraine, and I saw with my own eyes the body bags lined up. I saw the mass graves. I saw the destroyed houses, but also hospitals, kindergarten. It was awful. But at the same time, I saw the bravery of the Ukrainian people and the hope they put into the idea we will make it as a sovereign and independent country. And then I met with President Zelensky. I'm constantly in touch, but I met him in Kyiv, and his leadership is outstanding. So it is an enormous motivation because they are not only fighting for their lives and their values, they are also fighting for our values. And therefore, we have to support them, and we are supporting them.
It could be argued they're fighting for the safety of the world.
Absolutely. They're fighting for the question, will autocracy win with the aggression of Russia, or democracy? Will there be the rule of law which we defend, or is it the right of might that will be the defining factor? And therefore, it's an existential crisis, an existential fight, and it's wider than Russia, Ukraine. It matters to all of us.
So it leads us to the European Union. We've heard President Macron's reservations about a quick admission for Ukraine. Can you assure President Zelensky that they will be fast-tracked to be members of the EU?
I think they belong in our European family, and therefore there is a certain, and that's correct, and needs to be a certain procedure to access the European Union because you have to meet some standards, defined standards. So there will be no shortcuts. But what we can do, and this is important, I proposed now to the European Council, and thus also I discussed with President Zelensky, that we establish a platform for the reconstruction of the country. We will need billions and billions of euros and dollars. On this platform, with the reconstruction investment, we combine it with reforms, anti-corruption, administrative capacity, independence of the judiciary. So that will pave the path toward the European Union. And this is something where he's also very much looking forward, and we need all to contribute to this platform. Of course, the European Union, but also our American friends and other like-minded countries and the international financial institutions.
You say no shortcuts, though. That could be worrisome if you are a Ukrainian listening to you right now.
I want to reassure you, Ukrainians, it's up to them, because I give you an example. Look at Slovakia. Slovakia, at a certain point in time, decided we want to join the European Union. And they were so fast, it took them a few years, and they were members of the European Union. We have other candidates. Since decades, they are candidates, but not advancing. Okay, that is another story. So whether from being a candidate country, you then make it to join the European Union is, of course, up to the Ukrainians, and we want to support him with all means. This is investment, but it's also the advice for reforms. And I'm sure, I saw how determined they are. So they will show the same determination to bring their country forward towards the European Union.
Their determination is certainly proven already, but the complete shape it's in, what if part of it has been taken away? There are members of the EU who are pretty phobic to expansion. Are you worried? Are you willing to fight this for Ukraine?
I think together with the Ukrainians we can convince those who are skeptical and prove to them that the country is advancing and matching the standards, the necessities for accession. And this is our task. I mean, this is it is a path to go, but as always in life, it's a question whether you're really determined, whether you have the help and the support or not, and we are really willing. I think they really belong into our European family.
I want to read from Thomas Friedman's article in the New York Times. He's a columnist, and this is a piece about President Biden and sort of the hand that he's been dealt with. Thomas Friedman writes this: "It clearly weighs on him that we've built a global alliance to support Ukraine, to reverse the Russian invasion and defend core American principles abroad, the right to freedom and self-determination of all peoples, while the GOP is abandoning our most cherished principles at home. That's why so many allied leaders have privately said to Biden, as he and his team have revived the Western alliance from the splintered pieces that Trump left it in, thank God, America is back." And then they add, "But for how long?" And so my question to you is, do you believe America is back, American strength and commitment to its core values? And is it back for good or just for now?
I am convinced it is back for good. I must say, I mean, I've been a member of the government of Angela Merkel for 14 years, so I dealt a lot with the United States, and now I'm president of the European Commission. I've never experienced such a close and excellent cooperation with our American friends. And we would not have been capable to act so determined, so united, if it would have been for the transatlantic unity. And I think this is something, if I look at from the outside to the United States, I think it's also a unifying factor for the Congress, for example, for the whole country, because we've all understood this is about democracy in itself. This is about how we're going to live in future, whether it's going to be the rule of law or whether we're going to have autocracies defining how the world should move on. And therefore, we've understood how important it is to work together. Of course, this is a daily fight, and you have always to redress and reinstall this motivation. But I'm willing to do it.
So America is back.
America is back, and it is an excellent cooperation that we have. This is the transatlantic unity that is really impressive. You'll see it also with NATO. Now Sweden and Finland joining NATO. This shows a lot of determination to stick together to defend our values.
And up next, can Europe effectively punish Moscow while still paying Putin billions of dollars for oil and gas? We'll tackle that part of the puzzle next on Morning Joe.